Hey everyone, how are we? It's that time of month again. The full moon has come back around. So it is time for our shadow work reading. Anyone that doesn't regularly watch the channel, I do shadow work every single full moon. Shadow work is something, close to my heart, something that I am personally invested in, and it's a very strong influence in the way that I read intuitively. Okay, so if you need more of an understanding of what shadow work is, you're more than welcome to leave questions in the comments and things like that as well, of course. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the readings. But, we do sort of we like to embrace our darker sides here on Crazyfaerie, as well as, the light, obviously. We never hide from the darkness, that's for sure. Okay, but this particular full moon, it is the full moon in Pisces, obviously during Virgo season. But today's reading a little bit different because it is actually Father's Day on the 7th of September and that full moon on the 8th of September here in Australia. So, you may be seeing this video uploaded on what would be my Father's Day rather than the actual full moon. But as we all know, the full moon energy does sort of go a day over each side there as well. It is a sort of very significant kind of full moon, this particular full moon. It is a blood moon, a total lunar eclipse. So we do have some really strong energies coming into play this particular full moon, but especially with the Father's Day thing here as well. I know that may be different elsewhere in the world, but it's Father's Day in Australia, so I sort of, I quite often say I run off my own seasons. I run off our own holidays here as well in Australia. Okay, so the focus of this shadow work reading is around divine masculine. Okay, so we want to honor the divine masculine Father's Day, even if you don't have a father in your life. Today is actually, in my opinion, it is about honoring the divine masculine. So this particular shadow work reading, we are looking at, moving ourselves away from the toxic masculinity within ourselves towards a more divine masculine energy within ourselves. Okay, so everybody does have masculine and feminine within. It's all about, finding that balance. Some people just naturally are more of a feminine energy and others are more of a masculine energy, but we do all, hold traits of both and need to balance those out within ourselves and make sure both are coming through in the divine versions rather than the toxic, unevolved kind of versions of those. Okay, so it's the divine masculine really actually heals some of the toxic masculinity traits. So we're looking at things like aggression, dominance, greed, and emotional avoidance do tend to come from the toxic side of masculinity, whereas the divine side heals those. So it has strength without being aggressive, and it takes control without being overly dominant. And there's that balance. It's not greedy and taking, and it's not emotionally avoidant either. That's something a lot of people don't realize about masculine energy is actually quite an emotional energy in its own kind of a way. But because toxic masculinity does have that emotional avoidance, kind of no emotions, we don't want emotions on the masculine side of things. It does kind of get a bit overlooked here, but the divine trait of emotional intelligence is, that the masculine is the protector of emotional, and protects the weak and vulnerable sides of ourselves, as well as, in the greater world. Okay, but so it's all about finding our strength and power. Through things like, the masculine takes care of action and leadership. It's that protection and provision, providing for, itself and others in their lives. Integrity and honor, confidence, self-assurance, empathy, compassion, logic and reason, of course, but healthy boundaries, and it drives the structure and realization of one's goals as well. And then, with the masculine being a very action orientated energy, it sort of really pushes you towards those goals. The feminine feels and the masculine does, but the masculine protects the feminine and allows the feminine to feel, and has empathy and compassion for that, and is the protector and provider of a space where we can have emotion and vulnerability. So it's very interesting energy there. Now, the full moon itself, it will be mostly affecting Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Like I said, it is the full moon in Pisces throughout Virgo season. So those two signs do tend to get very affected, but also seeing Gemini and Sagittarius coming through in that energy as well. We'll still have, effects for each and every one of us, but those ones may feel it a little bit stronger than others. Closure and completion. It's a bit of a crossroads where, we choose to let go of the past and move forward. So we're surrendering and we're trusting and we're creating space for the unknown, the new, letting things go so that we can move forward. Endings and farewells. Farewells actually has been coming up as a bit of a keyword for this full moon. So it's kind of saying goodbye to the old and hello to the new. But I do sort of pick up that there may be quite a lot of people within the collectives actually having to kind of, have those bitter goodbyes and actually having to say farewell to things that maybe have been positive aspects in one's life, but it's kind of now outgrown those things. So it's time to move forward. So, removing the outdated ways of thinking. It can actually super polarize and intensify the separation between the emotional, intuitional self and the rational, logical self. Like I said, it does tend to be a very masculine energy, this particular full moon anyway. So it coinciding with the divine masculine Father's Day energy makes a lot of sense, to be honest, because, the growth becomes clear, and we do find our strength and our power using rational, logical thinking at the minute. So it may actually, there may be a bit of a separation between your brain and your heart throughout this full moon. So, most likely doing things because that's what is right, rather than that's what feels right. So, you're doing the logical thing, the rational thing this full moon. Okay, so we will get into it, and we will sort of start off with Pisces. The timestamps will be in the description box, and you're more than welcome to check multiple placements. For the shadow work readings, I do always recommend your moon sign as well, since we are in that full moon energy. But today I've got the Sacred Spirit reading cards. Okay, that's a deck by Anna Stark, and it's a lovely deck. But I'm also using our tried and tested, the Red Hand Lenormand. I do. Anyone that does watch the channel knows that I do adore this deck, and it is my sort of go-to when it comes to the shadow work readings. As you can tell, we do see a lot of deeper, darker sort of coloration in those cards as well, so it really works well with the integrating shadow side of things. It does have quite a lot of extra cards in the deck as well, rather than just the standard Lenormand deck. So I love to use that particular deck. That's a deck by Pixel Occult. So if you're interested, they do have other decks as well. There is a neon Lenormand deck, as well as a neon tarot deck. That the tarot deck in the neon is absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend that if you are someone that likes the tarot cards. But this is my personal favorite, the Red Hand Lenormand. Okay, so we'll get into it. Like I said, starting off with Pisces today, being that, you guys are going to be mostly affected here. But like I said, timestamps in the description box. Okay. Pisces, starting off with you today, Pisces, that full moon in Pisces. Strong one for you, Pisces. What does Pisces need to know in regard to the shadow work this month for their divine masculine? Integration with divine masculine for Pisces. What does Pisces need to know in regards to shadow work, please? first off the rank, first card for you today too. Okay, so number 1, align your universe. So, pulling things back into alignment, noticing the things in your life that have sort of fallen by the wayside, you haven't been paying as much attention to those. This is a very balancing, like very much an aligning, getting all your ducks in a row kind of energy, making sure we're paying attention to, all facets of our life equally rather than focusing in on just one particular thing. It does say navigating distractions. So this full moon obviously will bring around a distraction, but I do feel as though there is sort of some greater distractions at play here in the form of, you wanting or feeling like you should focus on just one thing. So some of you, just as an example here, you may be just very, very focused on, your career at this particular time. You maybe have some things going on with your family, and so that's all that you can think about. So it's still finding time for the other things in your life, not just that one thing, because there's something about that coming through as, if you devote 100% of your time and energy to just that one area, that you're letting other things fall by the wayside, and you may miss out on some other really good opportunities, and so there is something needing to be sort of brought back into the alignment here that you haven't been paying attention to. You've kind of been procrastinating, a little bit distracted from looking at a certain area of your life and paying it any mind. Okay, so it's kind of that energy of the thing that you least want to pay attention to right now, Pisces, is probably the thing that you need to pay attention to the most right now. Okay, but we'll have a look with the lenormand here as well. Aligning with the masculine for Pisces shadow work. Shadow work for our Pisces, please. It's interesting that the first card I pulled here was the dog, Pisces, because I'm actually seeing a cat. I'm seeing it's only a small little black cat. Oh, it's actually got a streak of orange on it. You may have, that may be significant to somebody that's watching, a Pisces that's watching, a small cat. It's only quite small. There's a strong energy here of protecting the weak. If you've watched the intro there, that was something I did mention here, that the masculine energy protects the weaker, vulnerable sides of feminine energy of ourselves. And there is a very strong energy of you needing to do that at the moment, Pisces. The hidden energy I've got on the bottom of the deck, I've got the heart followed by the feminine there. So we see a lot of emotional, feminine energy hiding underneath the surface here. And, that's why your divine masculine is wanting to address that and look after that and protect that side of yourself here. It does feel to be very strong part of the message here is the protection of the feminine within yourself, protection of your emotions, protection of, giving your emotions a space to live within you. Really, really needing to develop some, not avoiding emotion, because like we see with that aligning your universe and that's saying navigating distractions, there's something distracting you, or you're allowing yourself to distract yourself, and it's kind of that energy of doing anything to avoid the emotions that you have. So there is a very strong message here of needing to pay attention to your emotions, and your emotional side, your feminine side at the moment, Pisces. Like I said, we do have the dog coming through first there. So straight away, it's kind of, that is the card of friendship, but it is telling me straight away that you're needing to be a better friend to yourself. So we do see issues around, loyalty, companionship, compassion and understanding. But all that needs to start within yourself, that you need to start treating yourself the way that you treat other people in your life, because if your friend was in need, you think about a close friend, and if they were in need and they needed some help and they were feeling very emotional, what would you do for them? What space would you hold to help them? Why are you not holding that same space for your own emotions and allowing those emotions within yourself to come to the surface and be known and be there. Full stop, just be there, you know, and accepting those emotions and showing yourself some compassion and understanding for, you know what, we all have emotions as much as we try not to sometimes, which is, it kind of feels like you're trying not to have any emotions here, Pisces. We do also see the moth coming through here. So definitely, you know, an opportunity throughout this full moon period to transform that energy of, you know, hiding from into accepting. And, you know, maybe I don't need to face it immediately, but I accept that it exists in the, you know, at the very minimum, I'm accepting that it's there and allowing it to be there, rather than totally avoiding its existence altogether. So there is some sort of transformation. It's time to, you know, open up a little bit, spread your wings and open up a little bit, come out of your cocoon a little bit here, Pisces. And some of you definitely have been in the cocoon phase for a while. You've been going through this transformation for a little while here, Pisces, and you really are needing to be a lot softer with yourself. So the way for you to embrace your divine masculine is actually through the feminine sides of yourself, and embracing the feminine sides of yourself and allowing them to exist. Because I feel like a lot of you're not allowing yourself to have a heart, to have empathy and compassion and understanding for yourself at all. You know, we do also see the candle there. So the fire has not dimmed within you. You've just been sort of hiding from it. You've been sitting in the darkness, avoiding looking at the light. And it's kind of time to, you know, allow that, because I do feel like for a couple of you here, Pisces, that burning fire within you, that's maybe why some of you have been hiding from those emotions, because, you know, like a moth, you're scared of getting too close to the flame, that you know that if you allow those emotions out, that they're going to burn very, very brightly. And for some of you, you know, there is a lot of anger there and a lot of, you know, harder emotions to deal with. It's not just emotions of, you know, happy, lucky, lovey-dovey emotions. Not at all. There's some deeper and darker emotions hiding in there that you have been, you know, avoiding. And, you know, this is sort of asking you to, you know, not be afraid of that flame within you, that's burning away within you for a reason. And if you don't actually address that and look at that, it's either going to burn away completely, and you'll feel like you're missing a huge part of yourself, or it will, you know, burn with abandon without someone to guide it and shape it to where it needs to go. Okay, so, you know, and that becomes explosive, right? And the last thing you want is those sorts of emotions to get to the point where, you know, they explode out of you. It's much better for you to address them and allow yourself to be drawn to the flame, you know, like a moth to the flame. Be drawn to that flame with some understanding and compassion towards yourself. All right, so that's what we have for you today, Pisces. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Aries. Okay, Aries. What's going on for Aries with the shadow work side of things? Aries, embracing the divine masculine for your shadow work energy, please. How can we integrate the masculine energy for Aries with the shadow work? Aries, ooh, eternal union. Love is forming. Oh, it says new love is forming. So for some of you, this is completely brand new love, meeting somebody completely new. But for others of you, this is like finding new sides of yourself that you love. There's definitely some self-love stuff coming through here. It could be coming, you know, coming into union with your own self, you know, allowing the masculine and feminine parts of yourself to come into union here. So for some of you, it is just all sort of an internal thing. Whereas for others of you, there is a couple of you here where this is actually meeting somebody new, or you know, for some of you, they're not actually like new to your life, but it's a new kind of love. So that kind of leads me to believe that you may know this person, but it hasn't been love before. It hasn't been this type of love before, or there's a need to, totally start over and do things very, very differently to how we may have done things in the past with that person. But we'll see what wants to come through with the Lenormand for you, Aries. Aries, integrating divine masculine energy. Shadow work messages for our Aries. Shadow work messages for Aries, please. Now, that is an interesting message. I can kind of see, I'm getting a lot of Capricorn energy here for you, Aries. Just looking at the hidden energy here at the bottom of the deck. Okay, I've got the fish, the city, the astral, and then the goat, followed by the. Okay, there's a long story there. There is a big story there, Aries. But I can see straight away that, you've been trying to keep busy. You have been trying to distract yourself and keep very, very busy, and try to tell yourself, I'm so busy. I'm only focused on money. I've got to, build up my wealth. I've got to build up my business. I've got to build up my life. But then, on the astral, the energy is kind of rebelling against you here. We've got the goat and the astral there. So the goat is very rebellious. It is also Capricorn energy. But there's a strong astral connection to this rebellion. You're fighting against something. You have been really fighting against something here, Aries. And it's probably in the main bulk of this reading here. For a lot of you, though, this is something that's been going on for a long time, that you've been kind of lying to yourself about, deceiving yourself a little bit here about. There is a lot of, it's kind of like coming together as a team, working together rather than against each other. I'm getting that message coming through there as well. But the main bulk of your message here, Aries, we have the chains followed by the mountain. So this is a heavy-duty blockage, a heavy-duty obstacle in your life, in your energy right now, that has been blocking this union, has been blocking you from coming into union here. This is like, chaining yourself down to this obstacle, it's too much hard work, so I'm just going to keep it bound kind of energy. It's the mountain is also Capricorn energy as well. So like I said, I'm getting a lot of Capricorn energy here for you, Aries. So that may be relevant to some of you. You may have strong Capricorn placements as well. But you kind of in these chains, like I'm kind of it's even coming through with the chains and the mountain together. It's actually coming through as like sacrificing something in order to keep yourself bound to the distractions a little bit here. Because with the mountain there's a lot of hard work that would be necessary. And like I said, in the underlying energy there, it does show us that there would be working with someone, working with others, that would be necessary for you at this time. And you're really holding yourself back from doing that. And that's what's creating this obstacle, this blockage, this delays in your life here. Because you yourself, it's kind of like you chaining yourself down, kind of like it's too hard, so I'm not even going to try. I hate to say it, Aries, but you're kind of creating your own blockages here, because you're telling yourself it's too hard to try. It's too much work. I can't persevere with this. I don't have enough determination to keep doing this. And it's actually locking you away from yourself. So I am picking up a lot of emotional avoidance from you here too, Aries. Especially because the third card I have is the cat. Okay, so the cat is kind of a very avoidant energy. Very, very avoidant energy. So, once again, we're trying to avoid the hard work. Even though there's a message here about the universe is trying to tell you that as long as you start trying, you can break free from these things that are chaining you down. I am picking up strongly here for a couple of you some addiction type issues as well. And maybe that's what's chaining you down, holding you back. You're feeling chained to something. But it feels like it's something of your own creation, Aries. That it's up to you to break those chains. And as long as you start trying to remove those blockages, remove those obstacles, you will be able to. But it just will. It does ask you for a little bit of hard work, a little bit of perseverance and persistence in order to do that. Because you think about a cat, right? If you run up to a cat and try to pat it, it will run away. But if you persist and allow it to come to you, cutest little snuggle thing ever. So you just need to sort of start trying and persist at it and persist at hope. It feels like a lot of hope and faith and things like that intertwined with all of this as well, because there's a lot of emotional avoidance here. So it is sort of like the cat. It's the messages are running away from me as soon as I try to grab onto them. They're kind of running away from me, and it's very much the emotional avoidance coming through here. You're avoiding looking at your own emotions, and I feel like for a lot of you, it's accepting that your own emotions are the biggest blockage that you have. That not accepting those emotions and not accepting the truth of those emotions is the thing that is actually holding you back from going in the directions that you know you want to go in. So it's weird too, because it's like you're telling yourself, I'm being very logical and rational by doing this, but you're kind of not. I'm not going to lie here. It is feeling a little bit like, more along the lines of what I sort of was talking about in the intro there of the toxic side of masculinity, where, the emotional avoidance is not what true masculine energy does. True masculine energy wants to provide and protect the vulnerable sides of ourselves. And you're doing that in a unevolved way, which is just chaining them away, chaining those emotions away, and not allowing yourself to, put in the work to work through those emotions or even face them. Because I do just keep seeing this image here, Aries, of, it's like, I can't even think of the movie, but it's like an angel, like quite literally chained to a floor in a cave. And I'm seeing that this cave is like deep in the mountain. And that's you. You're the angel here, Aries. You're not allowing yourself to be yourself. You're not allowing yourself to be, the angel that you should be. Because it's like the person that locked you away and chained you to the floor of this cabin is yourself. And all you need to do to get out of that and escape that situation is to realize that you've put yourself into it, and to start accepting that you feel things. So sorry to be a bit rough on you there, Aries, but that's the way it's coming through, because, and that's why, I think that's why we're seeing the goat and the astral together here as well, because, spirit and your own energy, your own energy is fighting you on this and saying, stop doing this to me, Aries. Let me out, and so the only way you can be free at the moment is in the astral. So a lot of you probably are having some heavy-duty dreams at the minute too, especially around this full moon. Some of you may actually be having a lot of dreams relevant to, or not necessarily relevant to, but there's signs in there. There's things in there that you need to pay a little bit more attention to, Aries. Your dreams are trying to connect with you and show you the things that your emotions are holding. Yeah? That makes sense somehow, but I'm not sure how. But there's some things in your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams at the moment. And just start trying, Aries. Just start trying to face some of those, emotions, and you will start to, release those chains that you find yourself in. Okay, I actually would suggest here, Aries, watching your moon sign as well. It may be very extra information there for you with your moon sign as well, Aries. But make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Taurus. Okay. Taurus, shadow work messages for Taurus. Shadow work messages for Taurus. Integrating the divine masculine for our shadow work, Taurus. Eternal union. We just had this exact same card for Aries. New love is forming. So some of you may have strong Aries placements, or a moon in Aries, or on the cusp of Aries as well. Some of you may be dealing with an Aries. For you, I did pick up for Aries that a couple of the Aries that this was actually someone external to them. But for you, it doesn't feel as though it is. It's eternal union. It does say new love is forming, but I feel like this is, coming into union within your own self, or for some of you, it's not so much yourself, it's your spiritual energy. Okay, it's kind of like your divine masculine and feminine are what's in, there's your divine masculine and your divine feminine embracing here, coming, forming a new love together. And for others of you, this is, you and God, or you and, spirit, the universe, whatever you like to think of that, coming into union with your higher self, your spiritual self, your own energy, your reality, embracing your energy. Okay. Taurus, clarifying this energy for Taurus. Shadow work for Taurus. Integrating with the masculine energy, the divine masculine energy integration. Shadow work messages for Taurus, please. I'm actually feeling your shadow work is relatively straightforward, Taurus. Yeah. Some of you may be dealing with an Aquarius. We have the star coming through first, which is the Aquarius card here. So there's something here about, coming into union with the things that you dream for, embracing the masculine energy so that you can, start putting these hopes into action, start making a plan so that you can have your goals be achieved, have your dreams come true, have all your wishes being met. So it's kind of like formulating a plan to actually start moving towards those things and taking action towards your dreams. Even if that action is to just solidify what those goals are for you around this full moon, because like I said in the intro there, it drives structure and realization of goals, the divine masculine. Okay, so the full moon is, removing outdated ways of thinking so that we can create space for the goals that are incoming. So, we may be realizing that some of the goals that we thought we had in this life are now outdated, no longer suit our life. And so it's time to, come into, form a structure that's going to lead us to those goals. We also have the moth coming through. So you're in a very transformative energy. The moth kind of lets us know that you've kind of been through that transformation, and it's now time to, spread your wings a little bit here and evolve completely into the new version of yourself, the best version of yourself. So there's some things that you maybe are realizing how far you've come. I think this full moon, it's kind of all about the realization of, some of these things don't suit me anymore because I'm not the same person that was wishing for those things. So we're going to get rid of all those so that we can really spread our wings and move forward, start flying into straight to those stars. Okay. We also see the key coming through here as well. Success is around the corner here, Taurus. Coming into union with oneself, starting to, fly towards those goals. There's a lot of opportunities here for you that all lead to success. So many new doors opening up for you here, Taurus, in the near future. Like I said, your shadow work, it feels like more, rather than work, it just feels like a bit of a running commentary on what's going on for you right now, rather than work needed as such. If anything, the only work needed is taking actionable steps towards those goals. You do seem to be in a relatively good union with oneself, and you're a new understanding of that is coming through to you at the moment. That a new understanding, a new love is forming. So you've got a new love, a new wishes, new passions that are forming within you, new goals forming within you, and it's time to start moving towards those, to start emerging from your cocoon and flying straight to the stars. Okay, so that's what we've got for you, Taurus. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Geminis. Okay, Gemini, another sign who is probably going to be a little bit more intensely affected this particular full moon. Gemini, shadow work messages for Gemini. Integrating your masculine, integrating the divine masculine energy. Gemini, shadow work messages, please. Birth of creation. Ooh. Egg. I like the egg. It's the egg. I don't know why that is that message is coming through like it's some sort of in joke. I don't get the joke, Gemini. Let me know in the comments if there's some sort of in joke about it's the egg. I like the egg. It's the egg. I don't get it, but anyway. Potential growth. Potential for growth. The egg is, it's building up all its eggness. It's getting ready to hatch. You can see it's not hatched yet. It hasn't hatched yet. It hasn't cracked open yet. But there's also something here about don't drop it now. Don't drop the egg now. Don't break the egg now while it's so close to hatching. Potential growth. Potential for growth. it feels like this shadow work message is kind of along the lines of letting you know that this is a full moon period where it's building up. It's building up. So this particular full moon, it may be impactful to you, but it's not the egg hatching yet. This is part of the growth, the build up towards that hatching for you. So this full moon period is like, because I do feel something may occur for you this full moon that's like, the birth of creation, that there may be something coming into your life during this particular full moon period that it's like the first steps to something really coming in down the track here. I feel like it's like only a couple of full moons away, 1 or 2 more moons before it hatches. It's getting so close, like it feels like it's so close, but we need to make sure we're keeping it warm and safe in the meantime. I sometimes I love how sometimes the messages come through as just random analogies that I don't understand. Gemini, let's see if we can get to the bottom of this for you. Shadow work messages for our Geminis. Integrating divine masculine energy for our Geminis. It's kind of showing me now too that the masculine, divine masculine energy protects. Egg is a very feminine imagery, because we all know the feminine is what holds the egg, that what grows the egg inside them, what lays the egg, so to speak. The masculine protects the egg. Think about penguins and how penguins, it's the male penguins that actually keep the egg warm and nest on the egg. Once the egg has been removed from the female's body, it's the male that protects it and provides for it. The male is the one that protects the egg and helps it grow, keeps it warm. What exactly is this? Can I just get one more, please? Can you just tell me flat out what aspect is this in regard to, please, for Gemini? What is inside the egg, please? It's locked energy. It doesn't want to tell me what's inside the egg. It's locked at the moment. When I've asked what's inside the egg, I've got the chains and the ruins. So this is something that it's like it's locked. That's what the chains is telling me, that it's like it's a block. There's a block there that I can't see what that is. It's because, like, I can tell you exactly why it's blocked. I can see why it's blocked, but it's not telling me what's going to hatch from this egg. With the ruins there, it's like something you may have forgotten about a little bit here. You've locked something away so much within you that you've forgotten all about that desire, that wish, that it feels like something deep within you that something that you've secretly wanted for a very long time, and you've kind of locked it away within yourself. And there's a blockage there. I'm sorry, I can't get through that blockage. Like I said, you will know eventually what this is, but right now it's that growth period, the keeping the egg warm. We have time coming through straight away, the hourglass coming through first. So it's like, just give it time, just give it time. So it actually kind of is wanting us to know that there's not really much that you need to do right now in regards to shadow work, other than just give it time, be patient. Because You know, it's kind of like, and maybe that's part of what this egg is all about too, because with that build up, with that, you know, just focusing on growing the egg and allowing it to stay warm and protected, it's this energy of, um, okay, it I'm getting blocked big time here, Gemini. It's kind of like you don't need to know about all of this just yet. It's this energy of just allowing things to build and just being very patient with things. Um, it's blocking me. It keeps blocking me and taking the words out of my mouth. Um, it doesn't want me to say certain things here, and to the point where it's taking them from me, and I completely forget what I was just about to say. Um, the next two cards we have the goat followed by the stork. So the goat is you being very rebellious, you kind of fighting against this energy a lot, fighting against being patient, fighting against, wanting to keep this egg safe and protected and allow it to grow. You kind of I'm getting a lot of impatience where you just want to smash things open and you're just like, hurry up. If it's gonna happen, just happen. But it does feel like it's something deep within you that you've kind of forgotten about. It's not that you've forgotten about it, it's just that you've pushed it down so deep. You've told yourself so much that that'll never hatch. That's a dragon egg. It's never going to hatch. So I shouldn't pay attention to it. So you're kind of fighting yourself because maybe your intuition has been telling you that, hang on, it's been popping this back up for you here and there, telling you there's something there, and you've been kind of fighting it, going, oh, I'm never going to have that. That's never going to happen. Da da da. But the stork comes through and stirs things up, and the stork is very similar energy to the egg as well, because it's a creation card as well. It's a pregnancy card, so it's growing an egg as well. You know, it's waiting for that baby to hatch so that it can bring it to your doorstep. Potential growth, birth of creation, coming up with new ideas on how to hope, how to stir up things within you, and be truthful with yourself about what it is that you are desirous of and passionate towards in life here. Sorry, Gemini, this is really bugging me that it keeps blocking me. Because whatever I was going to say before, like, it was literally ripped out of my realm. Can I just get one more for Gemini, please? Is there anything else I can tell Gemini here in regard to shadow work this month? The shadow work seems to be just patience, just keep growing. Give some time and thought to the things that the opportunities you thought you'd lost, things that used to stress you out. Give some time to thinking about the things that, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Think about the things that used to stress you out, and why did those things stress you out? What was important? What was it that you wanted that was important enough to make those things stress you out, when you didn't get them or you lost those opportunities? Why did that stress you out? Was it because those things were actually important to you? So this is giving a little bit of time and energy, to the past, to be honest, to the things that sort of niggle away at you. So if there's something that's kind of, eating away at you, and it's like every now and then I think of this wish, and, it's always been there. I've always had this in the back of my head. Pay attention to those things. Give a little bit of time and energy to those things. There may really be something there for you. But once again, when it comes to the actual shadow work energy, this is it's just the pregnancy phase for you at the moment. We're just growing. We're just providing warmth and nutrients and protection, protecting ourselves, like protecting our vulnerable sides and protecting our wishes and our deep-seated dreams. You're protecting those at the moment, and maybe giving them a little bit of time and attention within your self to really work out what is valuable to you. Nothing really hardcore shadow worky coming through. Give it. I'd say 1 or 2 full moons, and we're going to get some clearer, much clearer stuff coming through for you. Maybe check your moon sign, Gemini, because I'm sorry if that was very vague and I kept getting blocked. I can't help these things, obviously, but that's what we have for you. So yeah, definitely check your moon sign as well. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Cancer. Okay. Hi, Cancer. Cancer. What does Cancer need to know in regard to shadow work this month? Integration of the divine masculine for Cancer. Seeing the color red, Cancer. Spiritual evolution. Set your heart free. Set your heart free. Why are you caging your emotions? Being very cagey with your emotions, caging your emotions away. There's an opportunity here, Cancer, in order to, evolve within your own self, within your life, within many aspects of your life. It's a strong energy for you here, where this is an opportunity to embrace the feminine side of yourself in order to integrate the masculine, because I do kind of feel here that this is, setting your heart free. The masculine protects and whatnot the feminine side, so it allows the feminine to be free, to have emotion, because the feminine then knows that the divine masculine is there, right there, helping it, looking out for it, protecting it, using its strength and power to allow the feminine to be the feminine. So I kind of feel like there's a strong message here that your masculine is already quite strong, quite divine already. And the next stage of the evolution is to understand that having such a strong strength and power within yourself, being such a very actionable person, the next action you need to allow is the feminine to rise to the surface and to be seen and acknowledged and accepted, to allow those emotions to be. Okay, but we'll have a look here, Cancer. Shadow work energy for Cancer. Integration of the masculine for Cancer, please. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? The first card we have is the heart. Okay, so, exactly what we were just talking about, setting your heart free. Once again, allowing your heart to be loving, to want and desire romance and love, and, even if it's not romantic love, unconditional love in your life, to allow unconditional love to be, to exist, to remember that you have a heart. Yes, sometimes emotions suck, but also sometimes they are beautiful and amazing and, happy. It's not always bad. It's time to allow that to be free, because if we avoid emotions altogether, we miss out on the joy, we miss out on the happiness. But you only want to avoid the anger and the sorrow, right? you don't want to avoid the happiness, but you know, it's all part of the same thing. It all comes from the same place, your heart. Okay, so you don't need to protect your heart in the same way that you have been. Okay, it's protecting is not caging. Okay, true divine masculine doesn't cage the heart. It gives the heart space to be. We also have the bouquet. Time to give a little bit more to your heart space and to your own, you know, to the things that you love, to the emotions. Give a little bit more time and energy to your emotions and having emotions and accepting those emotions, good and bad. The more you give, the more you will receive in return. This is kind of like you know, your heart is a gift that you are being given, I suppose, or you've had for this whole time. But it's a gift. It's like you've had this gift sitting there unwrapped. You haven't allowed yourself to unwrap it. We do see the goat as well. Okay, so you're definitely, you know, the goat is very rebellious energy, Cancer. You have been rebelling this, fighting against this, you know, really, really doing whatever you can to, you know, butt that heart back down into deep down. I butt it down, rebelling against allowing it out to express itself. There may also be some addiction type issues or obsession type issues that do need to be looked at here and given a little bit of consideration about. It's about why you have those. Are they, you know, are they coping mechanisms to allow you to keep those feelings bottled up and keep them trapped within yourself? Are they, you know, ways of expressing love that just aren't as evolved as they could be? You know, we see spiritual evolution coming to the surface for you here, and it's all about, you know, allowing that heart space to go to the next level, to be seen and heard by you yourself, by the people around you that you care about, allowing them in to your heart space a little bit more, allowing those emotions out. You know, not necessarily, you know, in vivid, dramatic ways, just in the smallest ways, you know, especially with the flowers here. Go and pick a flower and hand it to a stranger, or, you know, be giving of yourself at the moment, and that will really help you on this journey. Okay, Cancer. So that's what we have for you. Relatively straightforward as well. But you're more than welcome to check your other placements. Your moon sign is a good one to check in the full moon readings, of course. But we will move on over to Leo. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. Okay. Pardon. All right. Leo, shadow work energy for our Leos. Integration with the divine masculine for our Leos. Integration with the divine masculine for Leo, please. Seeing a weird animal. I don't know what animal that is. It's like orange colored and quite small. Very, very small. It's about the size of my finger. Like, it's small. I don't know what animal it is. We have awakened spirit coming through. Desire to change. Desire to change. What is stopping you now, Leo? Definitely seeing you coming into a lot of your own power, you know, recognizing your own strength and power this full moon period, you know, awakening to deeper parts of yourself that maybe you have not understood, and you're finding a lot more clarity about those sides of yourself at the minute, and you know, fully awakening your soul a little bit here, Leo. Shadow work messages for our Leos. Embracing the divine masculine, integrating and embracing divine masculine for Leo shadow work. the desire to change. You know, that's the first step, right? The first step. Wow. Seeing a lot of feminine energy here for you. On the bottom of the deck, we have the tree, so growth, okay? That's that evolution, the growth, the healing, the parts of yourself. It's very interesting energy because, you know, the masculine, this is what your desire, you know, the desire to change, the awakened spirit, you know, growth and healing here. Growth becomes clear so that you can find your strength and your power. And the interesting thing is, you know, the masculine protects and provides. It's very, you know, allows space for empathy and compassion through its strength and through its, you know, drive to take action. And the interesting thing I'm seeing here is your strength and your power and in the drive, the masculine drive to embrace your power is actually talking about your feminine side a lot here, Leo. That every single card I have that's come out is a very, you know, what I would classify as a very feminine energy, starting off with the feminine, okay? So straight away we're seeing feminine energy here. But we also have here the astral as well as the lily, which are both feminine energies. Because, you know, the astral is the world outside reality, the world outside logic and reason, you know, the deeper level, the awakened spirit. And this is your power. This is your, I kind of want to say your destiny to embrace your feminine and understand that your true power and whatnot is coming from your feminine energy. And you have such a strength and a vulnerability and an intimacy with your feminine energy, that, you know, your masculine just wants to allow your feminine to be free and take the reins here. Your masculine's more than happy to take a back seat to your feminine here. And you know, the masculine is there when you need it to, you know, be your backup and protect you from, you know, overdoing it and things like that. But the masculine also recognizes that the feminine is the strength and the power that you have, that everything that is you, Leo, comes from the feminine energy, comes from the strength of your emotion, the strength of your intuition and your energy in general, your ascended energy or ascending energy here. So it's kind of like a progress to realize. I feel like that's what the growth and the progress this full moon for you is understanding and realizing and awakening to that side of yourself, the very spiritual, in touch with your emotions side of yourself, and realizing that, do you know what, this is not, you know, we quite often see emotions as a weakness. They are not a weakness. They are not a vulnerability. Your vulnerability is your strength. That's like, it's kind of like saying that's the strongest, best thing about you here. You know, if you had to um, say the things about yourself that are the best things about you, it's all coming from your feminine energy. It's your empathy and your compassion and your understanding and your you know, your loyalty to nurturing and growing and healing, not just yourself but the people around you and even just, you know, some of you, the whole world, you know, and that is your superpower kind of thing. The lily talks about a lot of kindness and you following your moral structure here, and that being the basis of the actions that you need to take. So any action that you're wanting to take, making sure that it's coming from the feminine, coming from the softness within yourself, nurturing that vulnerability within you, actually enables you to action these things in ways that you maybe haven't been Okay, you've maybe, the more that you, it's kind of like the more that you try to stick to logic and reason, that weakens you, because you're not coming from the feminine when you're trying to be logical and rational. When you're trying to stick to the material world, that's not working for you, Leo, because you're not from here. You're from the energy, you're from the astral, and awakening to that energy within yourself, and understanding that, you know what, it's okay to embrace the crazy. Part of awakening to spirit is you know, I've always sort of, this is something I talk about a lot with my friends, and with readings and whatnot, that sometimes you've just got to embrace, you know, all the things that everyone says to you that's crazy, that's not real, because they can't see it. It's real for you in ways that other people just don't understand, Leo. Just because they don't understand it and they don't have proof of it doesn't mean that it's not real for you. You're needing to embrace the crazy a little bit, trying to stick in the material world. And, you know, you probably struggle a lot focusing on things like, you know, money, job, all that sort of stuff, because that's not you. You are something beyond the day-to-day mundaneness of it all. So it's time to realize that it's okay to step beyond that and embrace the crazy a little bit. I feel like I've said this a fair few times recently, but you know, there's a quote that I have, that it's the line between, you know, the space between crazy and genius is where the truth lies. That's your truth. Your truth is that space between crazy and genius. So your intelligence and your genius and your logic and rational is actually coming from your intuition. It's coming from something beyond. So start trusting in that a little bit more, Leo, and you'll start moving ahead in leaps and bounds. That's when your spirit fully awakens to what you really are here. Um, and it's amazing, and it's evolution, and it's a breakthrough. You know, it's living your life in ways that you didn't even know you needed to live your life, and all of a sudden it makes sense. And this desire to change, it's not so much a desire to change, it's a desire to connect to the truth of yourself. Yeah. That's what we've got for you, Leo. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Virgos. All right, Virgo, shadow work messages for Virgo. Shadow work messages for our Virgos. Integration of the divine masculine for Virgo. Open intuition. Seek clarification. And this is actually a very masculine energy. So it's talking about, you know, this is you can see the third eye open there on this figure. The open intuition, that your intuition is telling you things, but you actually, there's something here about in order to embrace your divine masculine, you actually need to seek clarification of those intuitive things, the things that your gut feelings. There is something here about your divine masculine needing kind of, it's not so much proof, but further information, clarification, which you then find through logic and reason, and, you know, in the material world, in reality. So there's these things that keep popping up for you that are gut feelings or intuitive ideas, and then needing to actually expand on those in very real physical ways. Okay, so this is how you're embracing your masculine, is you're using it to delve into the things that your feminine is giving you. So your feminine is already open, giving you a lot of intuitive messages here, but your masculine needs to actually run with it and take that and run with it and research that or delve into that a little bit more, dive in the deep end and learn more about that. I do feel like for a lot of you here, there is some aspect here of wanting to research these things that you're feeling drawn to, the intuitive things that you're feeling drawn to. There may be the need for you to research those, go down the rabbit hole, so to speak. Virgo, shadow work messages for Virgo, integration of masculine. There's that fire within you. We have the candle and the moon. So this full moon period is actually very strong for you, with the moon coming through in your reading here, especially with the candle, because the candle is like that flame, that passion, desire burning deep within us, that the internal thing that prompts us into action. And all that desire, that burning within you, that is coming from your intuition and feeling drawn to certain things. Okay, so we're trusting the feminine here, because this is, the candle is a very sort of feminine energy, where but it's also very fiery and red hot, and it can create a lot of drive in your life, which then it turns into masculine energy once it's in that actionable era. So it's kind of really wanting you to pay a lot of attention to the things that set you aflame and set your intuition ablaze. So the things that, like, and it's kind of telling me here too that some of these things you feel like, it's telling me red hot, like like you're burning with an intensity where it's like strong emotions, like even anger and things like rage, like it's not even just anger, it's rage within. So it's not necessarily just all the good emotions, lovey emotions. It's some of the harder emotions as well, and the intensity of those that are burning. It's like they're burning within you. They're not just sitting there; they're burning within you, and your intuition is going, this. I'm feeling drawn to this, and I need to, let it out before it explodes. Trust that, and learn that. Um, action that. Find actionable ways to trust that intuition and stoke that flame. And like I said, that the masculine here wants to research. I feel it. I do feel very strongly for a lot of you. This is some sort of, researching factors coming through here. That your intuition is like, this is burning within me, red hot rage. So now I need to research, why is that making me feel rage? What is it about rage that is trying to trigger for me? What is that rage trying to trigger? What is that? Where does that take me? What actions does that take me to? Making sure we temper it with that logic and reason from the masculine of, we're not going to go and do anything super illegal or crazy or anything like that from rage, because that can be dangerous, right? Our logic, rational thinking tells us that that's not a good idea. Don't do that. We need to research why we want to do that. What would that solve? Would that solve anything? Probably not, to be honest. But we all have that rage within, a little bit here and there, that makes us want to, do crazy stuff. Like the example that comes to mind is slashing people's tires or something like that. But don't go and do that, please. I take no fault. I'm telling you not to do it. Um, but because, you know, it's all about security and stability. We have the house here. It's about knowing the home within a little bit deeper, understanding, you know, what resides within you. You know, if this house is it's time to open up all those doors and have a look at all the different rooms that you've got here and learn a little bit more about where that door leads and what that feeling's all about and you know, researching those emotions a little bit more. So you know, using your intuition to sort of give you the topic, and then you're using your masculine to, you know, very logically, rationally find some sense of stability and security in that, to sort of stabilize yourself and understand that there's a reason. It's not just, you know, rage for no reason. There's a reason, there's a deeper meaning to that rage. And so it's time to sort of learn why. Ask yourself why. Learn the reasons why. So, you know, help find a bit of stability within oneself, balance within oneself. Can't kind of go wrong with that, I suppose. But that's what we have for you today, Virgo. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Do subscribe to the channel as well. But we will move on over to our Libras. All right, Libra. Shadow work messages for Libra. Integration of the divine masculine for Libra. Celestial gatekeeper. Timing is critical. Timing is critical. The time is now. The gates are opening. Celestial gatekeeper. This is actually telling me something about the gates being open, and that now is the time, the opportunity for you to receive something from beyond those gates, or to walk through those gates, to step into a new world, a new land, a new part of yourself. For some of you here, this is like, I'm getting a very specific message here that for a couple of you, this celestial gatekeeper energy, it's actually telling us that, you know, the gate is open and someone is actually walking through to you. So I'm getting that there's like a spirit guide coming, like a spiritual, celestial mentor coming into your energy, that you maybe haven't had in your energy before. So it's like gaining an extra spirit guide is the kind of, you know, if you want to put it in kind of layman spiritual terms, this is kind of what it feels like. And now this is something that I do need to be very careful talking about, because there are certain types of spirit guides that don't actually like being spoken about, and I am very aware of that. So I know from personal experience which ones I can definitely not talk about right now, and there's a couple that I'm unsure about how that will be received by them if I were to talk about them. Okay, they're telling me that they're telling me that they may not want to be spoken of. Okay, well, what I can say, Libra, is that there is no limits. Okay, when it comes to spirit guides, there's not the same limits that we have here on Earth. Okay, it's very specifically saying celestial gatekeeper. Okay, I think it's quite common knowledge. A lot of people quite commonly would be aware that some people have spirit guides that would be, perceived as angels. That's not the only type of spirit guide. Think about, think about angels, right? Because I know I can talk about angels. Think about what angels would all like if, taking religion away from what an angel is, okay? Think about other things that would be the same kind of things as what an angel is. The word mythology, yeah? The things that don't exist on this plane of existence, yeah? There is no limits with spirit guides. They can come in many forms. Okay, that's as much as I can kind of say here, because some of you have got some stuff that just keep in mind that you cannot talk about these. They don't like being talked about for certain people, things. Certain guides do not wish to be spoken of. They're for you. They're not for everyone. Okay, they are yours, not everyone. Okay, so take that as you will. I know a lot of people have different understandings and different beliefs when it comes to that sort of stuff. So take that how it resonates for you personally. But it did there is a message in all that you need to hear. But I'm sorry, I'm very restricted with what I can say on that end. If you know what you're talking about, you're more than welcome to message me on Instagram or email me. All my stuff's in the description box. Because, if certain permissions are given, I can talk to you about that one-on-one, but I may not necessarily be able to talk just in general to everybody about these things, okay? So anyway, we'll clarify the message for you a little bit here, but and I just want to add too that yes, when the tears come, that you're right, okay? That's what it's true. Sorry, Libra, channeling quite heavily there for you. Got quite a few messages there. Libra, integrating masculine for shadow work for Libra, please. So for a lot of you, this is mentorship, guidance, reassurance, spiritual advancement. To come into your own truth seems to be a big one for you here. We have the heart coming through. Trust your heart. Trust your heart. Because that's it. When you have that knowing in your heart and you have the tear come, yes, that's exactly what it is. You're not imagining it. The sun coming through here as well. Happiness is on the horizon here. Love, happiness, love, and happiness. Okay, so this is in pursuit of love and happiness for you to have your heart be free and shine and have the light exploding from you, kind of thing. So it's actually a really sweet message. But there is I keep getting the same message here. We have the snake as well. The snake talks about illusions, all right? So it's kind of wanting you to know, though, that certain illusions are being lifted from you now at this time. The gates are being opened so that the illusions that have existed in your reality we're opening to the next stage. So we're able to, remove some of the illusions, the deceptions of society, the deceptions of belief and restricted belief systems, perceptions, you know. So certain things that you may have believed up until now, the gates are now being opened for you to get to the next steps beyond those beliefs and understand that there may actually be a little bit more for you here, that you're actually going through some hectic spiritual advancement here. And that's why a guide is coming in for you to help you see through the illusions that have been placed around you from the way that society raises us, you know, to believe and whatnot. Trust the strong feelings, trust your intuition, trust your desire to know as well, you know, because both the heart and the snake have a lot of loving desire and passion, to learn about these things and to trust yourself and to, you know, love. It's telling me that's all you need to know, but you know, I do kind of feel here that there's not necessarily a shadow work message for you as such, other than to trust what's happening for you right now. And, you know, everything's coming, you know, we're having a lot of spiritual epiphanies at this time, awakenings, that the gates are opening and you're seeing beyond the veil, you know, in a few ways here. And trust your heart on that, you know, if it feels like you're doing things out of love, if you feel like something is happening with a lot of love surrounding that, trust that, because there is this unconditional love here for you, you know, coming through from beyond the veil, from this spirit guide, or, you know, just from the universe in general. There is this unconditional love here for you. And when you feel that, you will know that this message was for you. Okay? So that's what we have for you today, Libra. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign with the full moon there. But subscribe to the channel. And I'm just seeing there on the bottom of the deck, we've got the scythe. So these things, a lot of these things are very unexpected change, just sort of coming in out of nowhere for you as well. So there's certain things happening very unexpectedly. Okay, breaking free from the void as well. You know, we've got the void beyond that. So breaking free from the darkness and moving into the light at the moment, Libra. It's actually a really strong transition time for you. Okay, so enjoy it. But that's what we have for you. Yeah, subscribe and we will move on over to Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. Scorpio, what's Scorpio need to know in regard to shadow work? Shadow work messages for Scorpio. Integrating that divine masculine energy for Scorpio. I'm hearing the phrase, you have a sacred spirit. That is the name of the oracle deck I'm using, Sacred Spirit. But for some reason, it just wants me to say, you have a sacred spirit, Scorpio. Oh, no wonder why. I just got this same card for Libra. It's the Celestial Gatekeeper. Okay, so, and it is straight away giving me a very similar message to what I did see for Libra. So if you are close to the cusp of Libra, or you have any Libra in your charts, especially if it's your moon or your Venus, yes, Venus, or your Lilith, if you know your charts, and you have some Libra there, some strong placements in Libra, definitely check out that Libra reading, because it is telling me this sort of same sort of message straight away here. The celestial gatekeeper, it is also giving me this message of birds as well. So, you know, obviously we see the bird here in this card, but it is saying, you know, the timing is critical. So when you see the birds, you know that's the right time. And you know that the birds are trying to get you to pay attention to that celestial message, okay? Because it's a slightly different to the Libra message, okay? But for a lot of you, this is talking about spirit guide energy, you know, and for some of you, it's more to do with your spirit guides coming through in the form of real world signs, birds, okay? There is something here about your spirit guides trying to connect to you through birds, whether that be bird song, something to do with birds. And I'm not seeing just real birds either. I'm seeing, you know, because I am seeing a lot of real birds. Like I'm seeing a mess of pigeons running around, like, and then you're like, because I'm seeing you like running through, like, it's giving me a message of like when you see a child run towards birds and they all go scatter. I'm seeing that kind of energy. So I'm getting a lot of playful, fun kind of energy from that bird's message there as well. But there's something about your spirit guides trying to connect to you through birds in some kind of way. So that could be a lot of things too. There may be like pictures of birds or bird kind of like ornaments or something with birds on it. The word birds, hearing the word birds in just casual conversations and things like that. Somebody maybe has a bird. Scorpio. Shadow work messages for our Scorpios. Integration of masculine energy for Scorpio. Coming into your divine masculine. A lot of you are already very, very strong in your masculine, very embracing of your masculine energy. We do, on the bottom of the deck, we do have the tree coming through there. So growth, and then the stalk, and the clover. So it's like growth and healing and jumping headfirst into your personal growth and allowing that to sort of stir up within you. It's really getting stirred up at the moment. You know, once again, the stork is another bird as well. So things really getting stirred up and new ideas on what healing and growth look like and sort of diving headfirst into that at the minute. Okay, firstly, we do have the cross coming through. So clarifying this celestial element to the message, first and foremost, that there is a lot of strong destiny, fate around your energy at the moment, and it's very, very tied into your spirituality, and you know these messages from celestial sources, you know, whether that be spirit guides or whether that be, you know, connection to the universe or God or whatever you want to believe, like whatever you call that. I usually just say, you know, the universe or whatever, but certain terms work differently for different people. That's fine. Trusting and having faith, not only in something greater, having faith, you know, in faith, but in your belief systems, but having faith in yourself and having faith in your strength of masculinity. We have the masculine energy there for you as well. So trusting your masculine is already working to protect you and allow, like, your masculine energy is so strong that it's already, you know, allowing your feminine energy to be protected, and therefore allowing your feminine energy to come to the surface more and be a little bit more vulnerable and empathetic with yourself, be a little bit more compassionate towards yourself, You know, especially here with the dog as well. The dog is, you know, being a better friend to yourself, and, you know, having, for some of you, once again, I'm getting that spirit guide kind of message, having a friend that walks beside you, even if, you know, nobody can see them as such. You do have guides and friends, I suppose, you know, a companion of 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 a spiritual description, as well, you know, in this life here, that you're never walking alone, and your masculine is so strong, and it's already protecting you and guiding you, just within you yourself, you know, that it's time to maybe allow your feminine to embrace the fact that the feminine can be free, and the feminine can come to the surface, and know that your masculine side is already there backing it up to protect it and allow it to, you know, be free and playful, and nurture, and grow and heal. Okay. So some very strong spiritual kind of energy for you. It's not necessarily shadow work per se. It's more about allowing your feminine to be free, and allowing your feminine to, you know, really, you know, stir up the emotions and allow those to the surface, and accept those, and move forward in a more balanced energy, knowing that, you know, you've got the masculine backing that up, that you can be vulnerable, while still having this strength and power walking beside yourself, you know, this, the masculine walking perfectly beside your feminine, and knowing that they can work in really good sync together, and that, you know, being understanding and compassionate, and loyal to, uh, trusting in that is advised for you at this time, and that you know, being a better friend to yourself, being a better friend to your spiritual self as well. All right, so that's what we've got for you, Scorpio. Like I said, check out the Libra portion, if you have placements in Libra. It was slightly different there, even though we did see that same energy. But you're more than welcome to check out any other prominent placements, especially your moon sign as well. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Sagittarians. Okay. All right, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, shadow work messages for Sagittarius. Integration of masculine energy for Sagittarius. Ooh, divine will, Sagittarius. I'm hearing that phrase out of that. It's a really old movie now, that build it and they will come. Let go of fear. Letting go of fear. Allowing the universe to have its way with you, Sagittarius. Okay, so allowing things to happen as they will. You know, arms wide open, come what may. I embrace it, good and bad. I've got my arms wide open. I'm ready to move forward, and embrace whatever comes next. You know, embracing the unknown. That was one of the themes of this full moon, already. Yeah, surrender, closure and completion of the past, so that you can surrender, trust, and create space for the unknown. So you're allowing yourself to create a space for the things that you don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next, but do you know what? I've got a space ready for that to happen. I might hope and want certain things to happen, and so I'm going to create a space for those things to come into my life. I'm picking up a message here, Sagittarius, that for some of you, it wants me to talk to you about the creating space for a partner thing. So if you are single and wanting a love relationship, creating physical space for that person to be in your life. But you can do this with anything, you know, whether it be, because you hear that phrase a lot of the time, you've got to spend money to make money, that sometimes, you know, you need to create space in your life for the money that you want to come into your life. If I had money, I would go and, you know, I'd be putting it into this and that. So creating that space for that money to go, once you've got it, so you're creating the space before it actually is there. And this is coming through in this relationship sense of, I quite often tell people that if you're wanting to attract a partner, a really good activity that you can do is to, in your bedroom, for example, empty out a drawer, you know, empty out a drawer so that you've got a spare drawer, a space for your person when they finally show up. You've got the space ready for them so that they can keep a few items in that drawer. That's their drawer. And you keep that drawer empty, keep that space for them, and creating space in your life for, okay, yes, I've got my hobbies, I've got my things that I like to do, but you know what? I need to allow to a space for when someone else comes in, and I need to, integrate them into my life, and I need to make sure I've got space for someone to enter my life, because if there's no space, they can't enter. So this message is coming through for you, Sagittarius. I believe I actually got a similar message for Capricorn the other day as well. So some of you may be on the cusp. Sagittarius, shadow work messages for Sagittarius. Integration of the divine masculine for Sagittarius. So I'm picking up that for a couple of you, the feminine of you that date masculine energy, this is integration of masculine energy coming into your physical life. Okay, so being prepared for divine will to have its way with you, and let go of fear that it's not going to happen for you, because it seems to be very close for a couple of you there. Sagittarius, shadow work messages for Sagittarius. I feel like, honestly, your message seems to be create space. Just create space. Yeah, so firstly we have the City coming through, followed by the Candle, and then the Feminine. Okay, so we do see you here with some very feminine desires. The feminine is burning strong within you, Sagittarius, and leave the light on. Don't forget to leave the light on for the feminine to nurture and grow, and have the softer, vulnerable emotions available to yourself. Don't allow yourself to be too busy to forget about the feminine side of yourself as well. The City really wants you to know that networking. It's just giving me some random messages here that don't seem to be linked to anything. It's like it is actually kind of showing that the City is keeping you very occupied, and you're a little bit stuck in the rat race, so stuck in the maze of the rat race. So needing to sort of get away from that a little bit and allow yourself space as well. Let go of fear of fear that your candle is going to burn out, and because you're kind of burning the candle at both ends here. Your feminine is crying out for this candle to be to be burning brightly on one end, but you're focusing the other end. Your focus seems to be very material world, very commerce based, business minded. So try to take out the business side of love, and that, because that's a very logical, rational, masculine energy. So it seems as though you are just a little bit too much in the masculine energy at the minute, and allowing the logic and the rational and all that sort of stuff to take over a little bit here, because it's kind of distracting you from the feminine energy. So let go of the fear that if I stop being so busy, and I stop thinking like this, and I stop being engaged in the material world, that I'm going to gutter out, because you're not. You just need to just refocus that fire towards the feminine a little bit more here, the softer side of yourself, where you're allowing space, and letting go of the fear around wanting to grow and nurture and be vulnerable and loving, okay, nurturing something else completely. The feminine energy wants to nurture the energy, not the material. And so it's kind of asking you to stop burning both ends at the same time and focus less on the material and more on the energy around yourself here. So letting go of the fear a lot too, because I'm getting a lot of, you know, fear that it's not going to happen for yourself. So you're really needing to embrace the unknown at the minute, and just sort of, yeah, once again, let the universe have its way with you, Sagittarius. I don't know why it keeps coming through in that particular phrasing, but that's what I'm getting for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon reading. But subscribe to the channel and we will move on over to Capricorn. Capricorn, shadow work messages for Capricorn. Integrating divine masculine energy for Capricorn, please. Meditation. Oh, one of the first signs with straightforward homework straight off the bat, Capricorn. Very Capricornian of you. Improvements require persistence. Stick with it, Capricorn. Don't give up now. You've come so far. You've already put in so much work. Don't stop now. Meditation is your friend, and not even just proper meditation. Even Capricorn. This is just stopping and thinking about how far you've already come, and allowing that to propel you to be persistent. The things you want are coming. You just need to keep at it, keep going. But don't forget to stop and breathe, and take some time for yourself and rest and meditate. Definitely coming through there as well, Capricorn. Because it's kind of like meditation is allowing ourselves time to just sit in the energy of life rather than the material stuff all the time and distracting ourselves with real life world, like mundane day-to-day work and all that sort of stuff. Allowing yourself time to let your mind wander, okay? Because even if it's not actual meditation, it just feels like it's sitting down and letting your mind wander. It kind of feels like really good for you to be doing that at the moment. Capricorn, shadow work energy for our Capricorns. Integration of divine masculine for Capricorn. I feel like I'm losing my voice. Sorry, Capricorn. Integration of masculine. Oh, I think this is why we're needing to let our mind wander a little bit here, Capricorn. Firstly, we have the coffin. So we're allowing things to come to an end, okay? Because surrender. This full moon is a big time for closure and completion. Letting things go so that we can move forward. Endings and farewells. Removing outdated ways of thinking. One of the outdated ways of thinking has got to do with this cat energy. We need to end that way of thinking. End the way of thinking that we have to be so independent and that we have to keep ourselves separate. Think about cats, yeah? A lot of cats, you go to them and you try to pat them and they don't want a bar of you. Other cats are like cute little, fluffy little cuddly things that want to be all up in your business. Changing the perspective on which cat you need to be, Capricorn. You don't need to be the cat that's wary and runs away whenever anyone tries to get close to you. You can be the cute little fuzzball cat as well, you know. So it's like a new beginning for you here. It is a bit of a crossroads for you, Capricorn, to say farewell to independence. Not like in that way, but like the need to be independent, the need to do everything by yourself, for yourself, that if I don't do it, it won't ever get done kind of thing, that you can rely on others a little bit more here. So it's some new perspectives. It's a little bit of a deep introspection thing here too, Capricorn. We have the mirror. So this is why your mind is wandering a little bit, because there's some stuff getting reflected back at you at the minute. So I do feel that for a couple of you over this full moon, there may be some little triggers that are being hit. Okay, so you may see things in other people that trigger you a little bit. And you're like, why do they have to do this? Why do they have to be like that? Like, it bugs me that this person is like this. That kind of stuff. Because it's triggering you, Capricorn, to make you look closer at why is it triggering you. And for a lot of you, it's triggering you because you don't do that. You don't do that. You do everything by yourself, for yourself. And so it's kind of bugging you to see someone that so easily relies on others. Because it may even be, it could, like, it could be a little bit over dramatized as well, because it could be like something where it's along the lines of somebody who asks for help so much that they are taking advantage of that and they're never doing anything for themselves. And of course that's going to bug you, because that's the total opposite to your energy. All right. And so that, of course, that's going to trigger you, because it's unfair. But it's also unfair for you to hold yourself so far apart from others that nobody can help you. To understand that we need to find the middle ground between those two. That these things are triggering you for a reason, Capricorn. It's time to sort of let your mind wander and go, well, why do I stop people from helping me even when they want to? Because think about, Capricorn, when you see someone in need, and you're probably like me, and you're the first one to jump to help, and you give so much of yourself to others to help others, and you get something from that. If someone said to you all of a sudden, I don't want your help, that would probably trigger you too, Capricorn. You would be like, well, why don't you want my help? Like, that makes you feel a whole lot of ways. And just remember that people feel that way when you say no. When you say you don't need help, other people feel that way too. That, oh, well, maybe I'm not good enough to help Capricorn. Maybe, does that mean Capricorn thinks that I'm not worthy to help them? I'm not good enough or knowledgeable enough to help Capricorn? I feel like just think about that. Let your mind wander a little bit, Capricorn, and meditate on those things, and look a little bit deeper in the mirror this full moon, and maybe there is some overly independence that needs to sort of come to a bit of an end, and we need to have a bit of a death and a rebirth of the way that we are willing or unwilling to ask for help, or it's not even help. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Sometimes it's not even help. Sometimes it's just having an extra pair of hands. It doesn't need to be a contractual agreement. It can just be because someone wants to do something nice for you, Capricorn. just the way that you always do that for others. Maybe it's time to allow others to do that for you. Okay. So that's what we've got for you, Capricorn. Call you out a little bit there. But you're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, of course. And we will move on over to our Aquarians. All right, Aquarius. Last but not least today, we did start with Pisces today. So you guys are the last sign of the day. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I am sorry. But shadow work messages for Aquarius. I suppose that's what I get for talking for 2 hours straight. Integration of masculine energy for Aquarius, please. Ooh, channel your knowledge. What's the word? Critical judgment. Sorry, I was like, couldn't read that first word. There's channeling your knowledge, critical judgment. Because do you know what is interesting? When I first, that's why I was struggling to read that, because at first it looked like conceal judgment. So I think that there's actually a bit of a message of both of those there for you, Aquarius. Channel your knowledge. It is coming through a little bit here as channel your knowledge so that you're funneling your wisdom to the places where it needs to go, not just getting up on your soapbox and telling everybody, but you're channeling that knowledge to the people that need to hear it, not just to every old, Tom, Dick, and Harry. I feel like it's kind of like there's this energy of like pride and happiness to share your knowledge. But you do need to be a little bit more critical about who you're sharing it with. That not everyone is ready for the same level of knowledge as what you are. And it is actually reminding me a little bit here of an Aquarius I knew. And he used to get so upset if I spell checked him or, said, actually, this is the correct answer. Geez, he would get mad because he was so used to being the smartest person in the room. And a lot of Aquarians, you guys are smart. You are intelligent. But you also need to remember here with this channeling your knowledge energy, you do also need to remember that sometimes you need to adjust for the audience. Okay? Because I'm kind of getting this message here about, because, yeah, like I'll keep using the example of the person that I once knew. Well, obviously, I still know them. I just don't have them in my life. But he would get so mad when I would spell check him or correct information and things like that, because he was so used to being so much smarter, more intelligent than the people he was spending time with. So when he was spending time with people who were on the same level, intelligence-wise, it frustrated him and it really annoyed him. So it's kind of, but then he would be talking to people that were not on the same intelligence level, and they wouldn't understand a word he was saying because he would talk in big words. I tend to do it sometimes too by accident without really remembering, but sometimes when you have a high intelligence, your natural instinct is to talk in a a much more developed language using big words, I suppose. Whereas, sometimes the audience is not people that understand those words. So you need to actually, like, I hate to say it, but dumb it down a little bit. Because if you're talking to somebody who is not as educated as yourself, don't expect them to have the same education as you. And that's what's coming through. Like, that's the way it's coming through here, Aquarius, that you need to be a little bit more critical about the audience. And if you're talking, and the subject wise as well, it's not just the big words and the intelligence and blah, blah, it's subject wise as well, because if you're someone that travels the country giving, speeches about spirituality, giving speeches about very spiritual based things that don't fit with certain other belief systems, you're not going to go to a Catholic church and do your big speech, are you? So, know your audience a little bit more. If you're talking to children, you're not going to come and tell them these big concepts about things that they're, way beyond their depth. If you're speaking to children, you're going to talk very much on the child's terms. You need to get down to the audience's level. So it's kind of like, if you're speaking to children, you're getting down on their level, and you're talking in ways that they will understand, and you're interacting in ways that they understand and keep them interested. You're not giving them a 3-hour lecture on economics. Understanding your audience seems to be the main message coming through here. Shadow work energy for Aquarius. Shadow work energy for Aquarius. Integration of divine masculine for Aquarius. Because it does seem like you are in a very masculine energy. So yeah, this is a bit of a crossroads turning point energy for you here. We do have the bear and the mountain coming through first. So, we really see you as a very, a powerhouse here of, someone who has the strength and power behind them, that has very strong boundaries and, has the confidence and the assuredness, to know what they're talking about. You have the knowledge. Your strength and your power is, in a way, I want to say your stubbornness a little bit here too for some reason, Aquarius, but that you've put in the work, and that that if there's an obstacle, well, I'll find a way over it, and so, but that has created a very immovable force within you, where once again you're very stubborn, and it's not even so much stubborn, it's that you sometimes just don't realize how immovable you are in your strength and confidence. You're very, you stand your ground very, very firmly, but it's kind of time for you to adjust the footing, and maybe needing to put in a little bit more work to consciously choose what and when and where and how you're speaking to people, and how you're sharing your knowledge with people, because not everyone's ready to hear what you've got to say. Not going to lie, not everyone's ready to hear it. Some people never will be ready to hear it. So you need to be a little bit more, think a little bit more critically about, is it more important for me to stand stock still, stand my ground, and just roar my knowledge at this person, or am I actually trying to help them and affect a change for this person? Maybe I need to adjust my footing and adjust the way that I'm approaching this person. We do see the crossroads coming through for you. So you're at a bit of a crossroads here about understanding this within yourself and understanding, once again, your own stubbornness. It's coming. That's a message that keeps coming through. But when I say stubbornness, it's not necessarily stubbornness. It's you being this immovable force of confidence and strength and power in who you are and what you know, and your inner knowledge, and but you're really needing to be a little bit more choosy and decide how you're going to interact with people a little bit more, especially if you want to be personable, rather than just informative or knowledgeable. Because if you want to be knowledgeable, part of being knowledgeable is actually in the translation of the material. So you need to be a little bit, choose wisely how to impart the information so that it can actually be learned. Because it's one thing to stand there and deliver your speech confidently, and you've gone over everything important, and you've delivered a great speech and you've shared all your knowledge. But if you've shared it in a language that someone doesn't speak, they're never going to get it. They're never going to understand it. If you've done your whole speech in English, but that person only speaks French, they are never going to understand. And the different languages, the English versus French, that's coming through in many different ways. It can be, once again, people's intelligence levels and their understanding of language and whatnot. It can come through in, people's experiences in life. You're coming from your experiences, but someone else may not understand because they've not been through those same experiences. So your knowledge means nothing to them because they don't understand the underlying experience of that knowledge. So just really needing to be a little bit more choosy, and make a decision about whether it's more important to you to just stand up on your soapbox and say what you want to say, or is it more important to you to actually have the knowledge be shared? So that's what we've got coming through for you, Aquarius. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign with the full moon there. But make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys all again soon.